Okay.
You, you will find the arrows at the top, right upper corner.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. That's great.
Okay, amazing. That's it. As simple as that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you so much. You are ready. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. Save.
We take time to consider every word. I say things, they flow. This is immediate reaction from my brain. The other type of thinking, slower thinking, is when my brain faces problems that it cannot resolve immediately. In the example, and this is when it starts deploying logic and a more slow and more rigorous process. So when this approach is taken, for example, with language learning, very commonly people would go to thesaurus or a dictionary to look up words that they don't know to express the things that they want to say. Well, these two types of thinking are actually represented in two of the main features of a mobile app that we have developed. And this mobile app combines a dictionary and a flashcard-based tool. What you see here is how the dictionary works. It's very simple. Basically, if you are struggling to find a word in a foreign language, you type the word in your language, the translation appears, you can save it in your vocabulary book, and then you can structure it further by adding it to different lists and helping yourself to organize it better. Once you have the word in this vocabulary, which is accessible from different devices, so it's on the internet, on the cloud, you can actually use one of the other things. This is a very simple flashcard-based quiz, but this is actually when your reminiscence, when your memorization is being put to the test. So basically, the app asks you what the word would mean, which then you need to respond to whether you actually know the word or not. You can actually tap on the card to flip it to see what the translation is, if it was correct. What this uses is a well-established algorithm which is called spaced repetition. And to explain briefly, please refer to the three cards that you see here on your left-hand side. Think of them as virtual boxes of words. The leftmost is the one that would provide you with words on a daily basis. The one in the middle would give you words on a weekly basis, and the one on the right would give you words on a monthly basis. Whenever you get quizzed on a certain word, you can either say that you know what this word is or not. When you say that you know, then it gets moved to a box to the right. When you don't know the word, it gets moved to the leftmost box again. The result is that the words that you don't know yet, you haven't memorized, would appear to you on a daily basis. The words that you know better would appear less frequently. So this is what spaced repetition is. By the simple algorithm that it uses, you can see that the way to actually memorize vocabulary and to get used to it is to use this algorithm for a longer periods of time. So the problem that learners have is learning retention, memorizing words, or vocabulary in general, phrases as well, actually converts from our perspective to the problem of user retention. The longer they use our app, the longer we can help them improve their vocabulary. So based on this premise, we actually made a study where we used data from our app, collected data from our app about user activity. So we have information about people's journeys with the app, and then we draw different conclusions on it. We studied about 200 randomly selected users from our cohort, from our data set. They were all English language learners, but they were coming from different mother tongues. The biggest community, as you can see, are from our own country, speaking Bulgarian. French-speaking people were the second biggest, Arabic-speaking were the third biggest, and if you're interested, they were mostly from Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and the UAE. We collected data, we studied data about them for almost 3 years, and we actually approached a lot of them for further information about what kind of people they would be, so we can actually complement our analysis with some qualitative data. The results of our study were that we identified 4 very stereotypical types of learners. So one of them is the one that we call efficient. There is a type that we call stamina learners, minimalistic learners, and irregular ones, and I'll go now into each of the 4 types. So what you see here is the user journey of 3 examples, 3 real users from our efficient learner type. So these are graphs showing the weekly activity in these 2 different interactions that you saw, exploration and reminiscence. You can see that these users use the app quite actively for several years, actually, in their cases. And these 3 people are actually examples of someone that has learned other languages before. They know very well what the benefits of knowing a language is. They know that it doesn't happen overnight. So it's a longer experience. They know about it. They have been using tools, other tools to support them, not only our tool. They also were getting involved in language learning courses. So basically, this is we can say, the idea of how someone learns languages. They need to immerse themselves in the new language as much as possible. A different type of learners that we had were what we called stamina learners. You can see that they were also very active, but for a very short period of time. Something that's very common that we saw about them was that they were commonly encouraged by someone else to start, maybe motivated by teachers or by friends or by journeys that they had. And they were very enthusiastic about it. So you can see they were very active in the first few weeks, but then they didn't see immediate results, and that's why they didn't continue on. What we would like to see from them, of course, is to be less active in the first weeks, but then keep engaging in learning for a longer period so that they can actually notice their vocabulary improving. A third type of learners, minimalistic, are people that actually did engage for a longer period, but they were keeping their activity at very minimum. Basically, you can see that what they did was, for example, on most days they were looking up less than 10 words. Sorry, this is weeks, this is not days. So no, 10 words a week. This is actually having a look at 10 words for 7 days. It's not much at all. So this was very low engagement. You can see that actually this learner here is very similar to what our stamina type was, but they can come back. For example, in their particular case, they engaged only in exploration, so they never actually put the effort to memorize the words that they encounter. And the 4th type, which superficially looks similar, but actually involves a very different type of learner, are the ones that we call irregular. They don't have this habit, even the minimal one, of learning regularly, but they came back. With questioning them, we actually found out that they came back because of different reasons, like engaging in different courses, or maybe watching a movie or reading a book. So basically they had a reason to come back, but they didn't have the habit of actually learning regularly. And this is exactly where teachers and apps like ours should be helping them to develop this habit. Typical for these users was that they were younger, so this was a bit something that I suppose they need to face more, to experience more with their age. We put together all this on a map, on this scatter plot, and you can see the different types of learners that we, actually the colored dots are the 12 learners that we saw on the graphs. So on this scatter plot, on the horizontal axis, on the right, you have people that were engaging regularly. So these are people that once they start using the app, they used it almost every week. So at the extreme would be people that didn't miss a week in their engagement. On the extreme left, there will be people that engaged once in the beginning, once at the end, and that's it. On the vertical axis, at the top are people that actually engaged a lot on one occasion and then very little on other occasions. At the bottom are people whose extreme was very close to their average. So this is people that will be able to balance better their activity and not fall into the extremes that's what's typical for stamina learners. The size of the dots represents the periods that they were engaged with that. So actually here I can tell you that in this part are stamina learners. Here, roughly speaking, are our efficient learners, and then irregular and sorry, I need to recognize the colors. But yes, this is regular and this is minimal learners here. We haven't separated them in clear-cut sectors, because one thing that's very important to know here is that they're blended. There are very few clear. Thank you. There are very few clear examples like the ones we show. Most learners are actually mixed between them. So my experience here is that there is more teachers than app developers, so that's why I'll focus on the teachers' recommendations. So there are two things that we think teachers should engage in. On one hand, they should provide a very different sort of different types of exercises for learners to find what kind of exercises would motivate different people. So basically, we need to find exercises for each individual that they would find interesting to engage with and to actually get passionate about it. On the other hand, we have a very different challenge to actually keep them coming back on a regular basis. So on one hand, we need them to do the same thing for a long period of time. On the other hand, we need to do them to do different things. So this is a balance that is very difficult to strike in the middle between the two. So far, everything was about individual learners, and they actually only, some of them engaged in classroom work. This is a bit more about classroom work. This is actually how we support teachers in their classroom. A typical work process for teachers is they have the curriculum, the learning plan, they convert it to exercises, and then their students would be doing their exercises. What we do on top of this is based on analytics from the exercises, we collect the data, we analyze it, and then we feedback all this into the teacher's plan for the next session, so that teachers know what parts of the content was difficult, what part was easy. What they can do based with this information, they can actually repeat the difficult part and then skip over the easy part. And this would give more exposure to the difficult learning material to different learners. This can be done on an individual basis because we generate exercises. So basically, we can give you for every class one sheet of exercises that would be personal for every individual student if you decide that this is an approach that you would like to try. And finally, we've gone through a pretty long journey. We've had quite a lot of users without any advertising. We've had trials in 3 different countries. We've had recognition from investors around 2 of the top leading UK universities. But to keep doing what we do, we actually need your support. So we would appreciate any contacts with teachers. Of course, language teachers are most useful to us in terms of what we can collaborate in. But we also appreciate partnerships with publishers and, of course, people that would be interested to invest. Thanks a lot. Sorry, yeah, maybe the words were a bit too simple. Activity is about creating the learning activity. It's called creating the exercises, whereas practice is actually students working with them and providing the learning. So this is something that the teacher does, is preparing the exercises, and this is the part where actually, yes. Yes, please. Yes, so what we do, and this very much depends on your classroom, so the way you work with your students. The ideal way for us is that we create exercises for you, and students actually work on them on their mobiles or on computers. This way, basically, we get the feedback from the exercises themselves, so it's not additional service. So the idea is we don't want to put additional effort on students because very often, I mean, this is not something that they care about, right? a lot of the things that we do, we're trying to automate the boring things and focus on the important things, so that will allow teachers and learners to focus on the actual learning experience and not, let's say, preparing materials if that's not something that contributes to the learning process. No, we leave this to the teachers. Basically what we do is we create the exercises, we give them to the students, then we provide aggregated information. So a summary of what the results are. You can actually drill into each student's activity, but then it's your decision to grade them, because we don't want to get into assessment. Basically, students are afraid of assessment, at least in our experience, and because of that, we don't want to sound like a threat to them, right? We want it to be more a game that we provide useful information rather than something that they see as an exam. Well, I'll be around, so thanks a lot.
Yes, three.
Mahendran is going to be talking about mastery of mathematics using three sensory methods, hearing, seeing, and touching, if I'm
That's right.
That's correct.
Yes, you're correct.
So I'll let Mahendran introduce himself.
All right.
And you have about 12 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'll give you a 2-minute warning.
All right.
So
Okay.
don't be annoyed.
Wow, sure. It's a great research. I'm really excited. Excuse me. Sit on. Testing. Sit on. Okay, very good. Very good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. It's a great joy to see all of you. I know it's last day and after lunch. It's so impressive to see all of you. And again, why I was so passionate about this topic, it's something that I invented that I've transformed thousands of students. So today we're going to talk about, look at it. First, a little bit about myself. My name is Mahendran. My commercial name is Mac. And at a young age, I migrated. Actually, I was an exchange student to the US, and I settled there for 23 years. And actually, I was also, once upon a time, a weak student in mathematics. When I say weak, doesn't mean I'm not a learner. Someone I cannot learn. I'm weak because the system made me to become weak. It's not that I was weak. Every child is born to be a genius. There is a mathematics in everyone. It's just how to tap that out. A teacher said, when she was trying to explain the factorization, I just couldn't understand. She said, "You are stupid." Out loud, she said I was stupid. I told herself, no way I can be stupid. I know I'm a genius. But maybe the way she's teaching may not be the right. So I found out my own way of learning that factorization. Then I found out I'm a right brainer. So the way the system was taught in schools is the left brain. So as a right brainer, I couldn't understand the left brain of teaching. So that's how it evolved. My method of creating the right brain of teaching, and I started teaching kids and using that. So a little bit about myself. That's me. I left US in 1987. Even though my degree is in business and engineering, but I'm always passionate in mathematics. I left engineering, high-paying job. My mother fainted when she heard I left the job, went into teaching. But I was so happy. I was so happy to be a teacher, especially in mathematics. And during that time in my teaching, that's why I invented this method called Ear, See, Touch, using three sensory methods of learning. So a little bit marketing about myself. I was interviewed, newspapers, radios. I was deputy prime minister. Actually, prime minister's wife initiated my online learning. And then I did workshops all around Malaysia, Asia, and I traveled all over and introducing my way of learning mathematics. I'm transformed a lot of kids, okay? So this is some of the workshops. So how to prove it that my method really works? That's why my case study was today I want to present to you. Okay, Matt, you're just bragging about your method of teaching, but does it work? Does it really effective? Okay, I'll prove it to you. Okay, so and then when I came back from US, I took 2 semesters as a lecturer in a pre-university, and my students, I just transformed them. And they just did, and one of my students was a valedictorian, So, okay. So the common problems that students faces when it comes to mathematics, they say, this is a survey I took, does not understand the topic. And then they say, too many formulas. I don't know how to use it, So, and then they said, I'm scared of math. All this is psychology actually. Because I'll tell you why there's a fear. There's attachment of fear because at very young age, a weak teacher will smack a child. So that she attached fear with the math. When I think about math, oh my God, I'm going to get smacked. I'm going to be beaten. And I still remember when I was young, my tutor would bring a ruler and a straight edge. And he won't even hit me on the flat side, but he hit me on the edge. Bang! Ow! I think about times table or, I'll think about smack on my hand. See that? We attached a pain to mathematics, which is wrong. So, and then another thing is no interest in math. The way of teaching. Teacher's supposed to be an actor in front of a student. When you become a boring teacher and just teach like that, it's just like me. If I'm just stand still, talk, none of you are going to pay attention to me. You're going to be falling asleep. I watched many presentations. I seen some of them are doing, look at it, 4 and just falling asleep because the presenter is an actor in front of the audience. The same thing as a teacher. You must get the whole student's attention. Your eyes must be focused on every single student. Poor grades despite tuition. And the worst thing is boring. Which is not. Math is the funnest subject. That's what this method, USC Touch, is going to do. It's going to make math so much fun, so much fun to learn. Okay, so what I did is, I did a case study. In 2014 and 2015, I selected 6 schools in Malaysia, 4 of them upper primary, and then 3 lower secondary and 3 upper secondary. 1,191 students, and only low-performing schools and weak and average students. Among the low-performing schools, I selected only the weak and average. So this is the schools that I worked on. These are some of the pictures of them I took. Thank you. There you go. It's like upper secondary. And then, so this is before my program. I did a survey. Does not understand the topic. This is before. This is what the primary said. 76% said do not understand the topic. The secondary said 84%. And then the 88 for the upper secondary. So and then I made a survey, the average up to 84%. And then does not know how to use the formulas. And then for standard primary, you got 54. And then for secondary lower, 87. And that is scary. Upper secondary, 92%. Can you see the steps? It's all started from the primary. If you don't teach them the right foundation, it will continues. It escalates. And then when they go to university, they don't even know what to do. And they become a numb robots. Just take instructions. We don't want that. We want kids who can come with a solution, can be innovators. We talk about innovation. Are we creating innovators among our youngsters? We're not. We're just making dumb robots. Just instruction, do it and submit it. You must challenge. I love the way the Westerners do. We, Easterners, and the Middle East, we are creating a bunch of robots. But the Westerners unleash these students, create, be an innovator. I love it. Love it. So I brought that to Asia, but I was failing. Why? We always talk about think outside the box. Think without a box. But in Asia and the Middle East, we are stuck inside a box. It's been well guarded by institutions, well guarded by the education ministries. They don't allow. But I disrupted the method of learning. Mathematics, the left brain into right brain. And bringing transformation. And that's what I'm doing. Traveling. Trying to tell them that is a better way of learning mathematics. Easier way, which can transform. So we average up to 76, 78%. If you're in math, as you can see, and that's average up to 73%. No interest in math. Look at that. Upper secondary, 83%, and that's 64%. Poor grades in math, despite university and tuitions. And then bored with subject. As usually you see the primary, they're always excited, very low, but suddenly as you go up, wow, this hits me hard. 80% almost. Bored with the subject. And that average up to 60%. So then after my math literacy program, I conducted 4 to 6 months. All the selected schools. So let's look at the survey first. Final outcome between 4 to 6 months coaching. Using my right brain learning. Primary school. Do not understand the topic. 1%. 1%. Lower secondary, 3%. Wow, this is a 2% upper secondary. See that? It's a way of teaching. We blame the children couldn't understand. I'll give you an example. One day I was at my sister's house. She was screaming and yelling at her second year daughter. Second year, she was teaching, a subject. I said, what are you doing? Why are you screaming and yelling at her? Look, brother, I'm trying to teach. She couldn't learn. She's been stupid. I said, she's stupid or you don't know how to teach. Huh? Then why don't you teach? So actually later in my slide, the method I was teaching to her. Immediately she got it. I told her, what's wrong? Look, it's not her. It's you. Don't blame the child. Don't beat her up. Because you're putting fear in her. She's going to hate math eventually. All right? The right way of learning is very important. 84% to 2% after my program. And then does not know how to use the formula. This is so awesome. And then down to 5%. Having fear in mathematics, 0. Maybe 1% of upper secondary. So wow, that's amazing. So no interest in math, 0. And then which is 0. So now let's move on because time's limited, so at least you get the idea. Final outcome for primary. 244 participated. 243 succeeded. Only 1 failed. Well, these are weak and average students. These are weak and average students. They're not smart students. I don't take smart students. And then the lower secondary, 465 participated, 7 failed. The rest succeeded, which is 98.5%, 5% success. And then the upper secondary, 9 failed, which is 98% success. So what is Year C Touch? Like I said, there is math in every student. But you can't just simply teach them as one way, this 2x4 way. Every kid has a different way of learning. I generalized in 2, the right brain and left brain. Our system is being set up for the left brain. Oh my God, can you give me extra? I got a lot more to go. The right brain, the left out. So there's Year C Touch empowers them. And I always ask them, okay, in order to learn mathematics, I always ask, give me 3 pieces of land, okay? 3 pieces of land, and then I told them one is sand, one is mud, and one is concrete. Which of these 3 plot of land you build a house? Of course, I can't use that in Dubai, because the whole city is built on sand, but of course, still need a concrete, all right? So they always said the concrete, all right? The sand, collapse, mud, it shakes, and of course, if it's a concrete floor, you can build a huge foundation, a huge building. The same thing with mathematics. Our kids' foundation is so weak. From the very beginning, we're not enforcing their learning ability. So it's very important building that. So the Year C Touch, what does this define the principle, the year part? Attaching visual image and approach to the principle. That's the secret behind it. The right brains loves that. They're not auditory. They are visual. They love something, you attach a picture or story or something like that. I'll give you an example that I'll test you. You'll see the big difference. Testing the approach and then experimenting the approach. So the goal is to synchronize the right brain with the left brain. So that the right brain will think like left brain, actually it's the right brain, which makes the math easy. So what is left brain, right brain? So let's go very quickly. The left brain, which I've done a test. I have a small test I performed. I selected first 2 top classes and then last 3 weak classes. Usually in Malaysia, the first classes are the smart ones, always get the A's and everything, and then the last one are all the, they claim the weak and the dumps, Actually, they're not. They're not. But when I put the test on the simple right brain, left brain attitude test, which you're interested, you can email me, I'll send it to you. A simple 25-question test. Just give a quick evaluation whether it's a right brain or left brain, all right? So guess what? 76% of the first 2 classes, the top classes, fall under which brain? Left. And then 89% of the result fell on the which, for the last 3 week classes, fell on the which brain? Right, exactly. See that? So I went to the right brain. I'm going to transform the right brain. I'm not going to worry about the left brain. The system's already helping them. The system is not helping the right brain. That's why I came in and did that. So let's talk about what is left brain, right brain. Does that mean left brain smarter than the right brain? No, they're not. The method that teaching was not properly been executed for the right brain. That's why they become weak, lesser. But it's not, because I proved it. The weakest class I took and it's transformed from failing to pass, success. So let's take, for example, you have to give me a few minutes, maybe no question, I'll just finish up. It's so good to know all this. Let's case study, okay? This one is a left brain and a right brain in an individual basis. These are my 2 students I selected, student X and student Y. So how do I tell left brain, right brain? Based on in modern maths, you got C grade and the other one got a F grade, plus the test I performed on them. After the ESC touch method, you know what happened? This is what happened. And he's supposed to get 100%. He's supposed to get 100% because this teacher was not accepting his working. Because why? You know the system. That's right, exactly. I'll get, that's right, after this you'll get it. That's why I told him, please don't stop me at the end I'm bringing. I just want to, strengthen that. Yes, he touched it, with the evidence, okay? So right, so then next one, individual, Movin Raj, year 4, strong right-brained student. Midterm, he got 68%. And then for the final exam, after my 6 months coaching him, he got 99%. So, and then, you know what? And that's my assistant, Ju. She went to his award-winning ceremony where he was recognized. Since then, I awakened the mathematics, the sleeping giant of mathematics in him. 2014, 2015, and 2016, that's Movin Raj. Top student for UPSR, among the top students. So what is telling? The right brain cannot succeed. The weak cannot, they can. If there's a right tool was given to them. Alright? Okay. So, left brain, details, blah, 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 okay. There you go. Let me answer the question. No, actually it's a way of question too. Okay. So, like you said, synchronizing the left brain, right brain, simple way of learning. Okay, now, let's see, let's go to an example of what is the left, ESC touch is all about. Actually, the system is set up as top-bottom, which is really failed. The top management decide how the bottom should learn. But Math Week 3 uses the bottom up. I worked with the bottom, found out what they really needed, and I went up. But I'm failing. The top's not accepting it. No. We already decided this is the way to teach. Not you bringing to us from the bottom what you found out to the top. All right? Okay. So this is blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let's talk about my daughter, my sister's daughter, that this is what I call ESC touch method. I told her, she was trying to teach ascending, descending order. She couldn't comprehend the auditory explanation. So I said, Vita, how does an airplane take off, Ma? She said, Mama, it goes up. Yes, doesn't it goes up? So from the ground, it goes up. So the height gets bigger, bigger, bigger. See, that's what's called ascending. When it's descending, then the plane is landing. Get bigger, smaller, smaller, smaller. What happens if the plane goes up, comes down, goes up? Oh, no, the stomach ache. See that? The kids start to attaching the story or visual to the principle of mathematics, ascending, descending. All right? So now I put the numbers like that. I said, okay, let's do ascending order. Now the airplane's going up. Let's start with the smallest. What's the smallest number? She said 4. Okay, she put 4 and then cancel the 4. The next is 7. 6. Things all went off a bit. 6 should be 6 and then anyway, you got the idea. Okay, so I arranged it. Now see that? So we are attaching a story or picture to it. So the goal is to prepare students lifelong learning. When they attach, I have thousands of methods like this, and I'll show you later what are the methods are. A few of them.
probably have to stop now, I'm afraid.
All right, okay.
I apologize, but we've got to get in the next presentation.
Okay.
Thanks very much. I think
Last one. This one. This will answer your question. Can everybody do this question? With that calculator? Just then I'll end it. Do it. And I'll show you, I'll prove it to you. You can do it. No, just do it in your paper. Do it. Everyone do it. Nothing wrong to be wrong. In mathematics, nothing wrong to be wrong. The wrong is when you don't try. All right? What's the answer? 12 point? 1 point. Okay. Anyone else? Huh? All right. Okay. All right. The method I use is forget now, remember later. See, you're attaching a principle. Forget means you forget the decimal. How many times do I have to move the decimal? 3 times. I mean 1, 2, 3. Am I right? 1, 2, 3. When I remove the decimal, it becomes 643 times 2. I tested this question and every student makes it wrong. Now, I'm going to times it. 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 6 is 12. How many times did I move the decimal? 3 times. Just bring it back 3 times. 1, 2, 3. See that? It becomes so easy. Same thing. See that? A lot of kids, they find this very difficult. When they see that, oh, it can't be that easy. That's what CSC Touch is all about. So, okay, anyway, thank you very much. And these are all the few methods, airplane method, the line-up method, king-queen method, this method, that method. So I'm attaching all kind of this with the words and stories and makes it more fun learning. And the right brain loves it. And I saw success in that, all right? Okay, so, I'm going backward. So, this is how it always be, the beginning and the end of the year. Oh, look, this is what happens to the teachers, huh? Am I right? Huh? So we don't want that, huh? That's why the CSC Touch is helping the teachers all year long to be this way, to be happy and excited. So, I like to stick, since there are some of you are professors from from Hamdan bin Mohammed, I like to see if I can have a collaboration to do this test, case study in Dubai. I'm doing it in India. After this, I'm flying to India, working with some villagers there, doing this case study. And I like to do it in Middle East. I haven't done that. So please, this is my information. I'd like to see if I can collaborate with the university and do it in Dubai. Thank you.
For any questions, unfortunately. We're going to move on now with three questions. Okay, so if you'd like to continue. Note myself, you're talking about your presentation, investigating programming feedback to improve student learning experience with computers. Is that correct? Yeah? Okay, so I'm not sure your PowerPoint presentation. Have you loaded it up there? Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I think so. Good afternoon all. I'm Smita. I'm from Hereford University. And here I am to present a research done by me and my colleagues, Manuel and Tilal. We are primarily from Dubai and Edinburgh campus. And all three of us, we work in the computer science department. And we are here to invest, or rather, the motivation behind the study itself is because it informs our own teaching. Because three of us, we teach in the computer science domain. So the title of the research is Investigating Programming Feedback to Improve the Student Experience. So why is that we had to do this? Is because as I would say, because of as all of us know, programming is one of the core competence. It's just one of the core competence required for a computer science student. And the very nature of it makes it a bit challenging in the sense it comes by practice and over time. So when a UG student joins us for an honors degree program, they are with us for the 4 years program. And we try to understand what are the teaching and the learning activities which we can put in place, which actually can help them in evolving as good programmers and a real, a good use, or to how to work in a competitive market, to sell them in a competitive market. So this was the prime motivation behind picking up this particular topic as a research. And definitely it was also an insight for us to know what we have in place at the university, the teaching approaches, the learning activities which we have in place, are they actually helping them to evolve into those, evolve for those competitive market. Okay, so this was the key idea behind that. And now there were 3 research questions which each of us picked up. So as I said earlier, there were 3 researches done, one by me, the 2 others by my colleagues. The first one was, the question was, what are the teaching and learning approaches which our students appreciate, and what does our staff members or faculty members think about it? The second research question was, when it comes to feedback, how important is feedback? And when you automate it using any auto graders, how well can that help students who learn programming? How can you auto graders, or what are the factors that can help students learn better using auto graders? And the third question was, we all know that the students, there is always a potential peer learning which happens in a class. Okay, so we were trying to analyze whether peer testing can provide a help for the students in the learning process. So these are the 3 different questions which we actually tried to investigate. So we go into the first research here. So I would like to quote or refer to Stephen Brookfield's words here, that to know the worth of your teaching, you should always engage in critical reflection, right? It means that you should always analyze what you do. Is it that effective? And the response comes from our students, obviously. But Brookfield also suggests about 4 critical lenses which we can use to know the effectiveness of the teaching. One is the literature lens. You can always have a look back at the literature, the best practices. Second is you get to learn from your peers, okay, colleagues. Third is, the most important one, is the students. You get to see what the students think about what we are trying to implement in our universities. And the fourth is your own reflection of how things are working and what is not working. Okay, so these is actually the theory behind why we went for this. And what we did actually was, we took the second year BSc Computer Science, 20 students, and there were a questionnaire given to them wherein we tried to list all the potential teaching and learning approaches. And we gave them a lot of open-ended and closed questions so they can freely write about what they think about each set of approaches which we use in the university. And the results were actually very, very informative, I would say. And we also wanted to know what the faculty members think about it. So 4 faculty members were interviewed. A one-to-one interview was done with them. So since we had qualitative and quantitative questions, we also did Criswell's data analysis, thematic analysis, to find out the key terms. And you would see the results show that, so these were the results. The main thing which we have highlighted there is, or from the first study what we have gathered is, students really, really appreciate continuous and immediate feedback on what they do. So the more very relevant feedbacks you get from your lecturers, they even said that it actually improves their confidence. And they also said that it also helps them when they learn in a group more. So we actually categorized the teaching methods and learner activity into 2 classifications. In the first, we saw program visualization, use of educational videos, live coding, where the lecturer does a live programming in the class, because then they have an opportunity to discuss with them what we are doing. So that actually has helped the students a lot. And they have appreciated those methodologies. And when it comes to learner activities, they were very specific about working in a group, because they get to see what they have done, and somebody is reviewing it, you get a lot of feedback. So the prime thing we understood from the first study is that there is a lot of importance for the different mode of feedbacks which the students get in the class. The second study, therefore, was how to automate it. Like, what are the auto graders to be used? And definitely here, the motivation to do this was, this study actually can be used to use the auto grader in the year 1 course. So what we did here was, again, chose second year students, demonstrated an auto grader tool to them, and then asked the staff members what they think about using an auto grader. And the results which we found was, the auto graders, they give a positive learning experience, they get to practice a lot, so they get instant feedback there. So and then it provides, definitely the grading is fair with everybody because it's done automated. And so these were the key things, as I said, the results. And the last study was a peer testing one. Can another student test what you've done, a coursework of yours, and give you feedbacks? And how effective is that? The study we actually did with a experimental done, a simple piece of coursework was given to a student, and peers were reviewing it and they were giving feedback, and we found surprising results there, that there was a lot of conversation happening between the students. And one thing which we found was seeing another way of doing is certainly interesting, and you get to learn from that is about the positive side of it. And to come to a conclusion on what we have done in the last researches, staff and students, they do agree peer testing has a positive impact. And in conclusion, what I would like to say is the staff and students, they agreed that peer testing can help students learn, and we actually put that as a project to the Heritot and the QAA Learning and Teaching. And right now, it's a funded project from the QAA. So the title of the project is Student Transition from Passive Learners to Critical Evaluators Through Peer Testing. So right now, we are working on a project which is a QAA funded project, which actually where we will ask the students to peer test. Okay, the course was done by other students and give feedback, and we are trying to investigate how effective that could be. So our hypothesis for that investigation is this, that we assume, or the hypothesis is that we assume that the students are really lively when they do that, because they look at the coursework, while they develop a coursework, they have a different mindset, and when they look at another piece of coursework, they have a critical evaluator's mindset. So they get to see the same coursework in the two different ways. So there is always a learning which occurs even after the coursework is submitted, because you're actually evaluating it in a thorough way. You're looking at, you have done it in one way, you're seeing it done in a different way, so you're comparing, or you are also learning in the same process. So this is exactly what our research is, and those are the references for it and questions.
Thank you. It's great research. When you were looking at feedback from automated systems, can you explain a bit what kind of automated system it was, and what kind of, most importantly, what kind of feedback does it give? So how insightful it is about possible problems or positive things. Oh, actually, sorry, I was rushed a bit too much in the question. Actually, it was great work. I really appreciate it, and thanks for showing it.
Have a course on artificial intelligence, wherein we use an autograder written in Python to actually test our programs. So what we did there was, it's sort of a unit testing done, and we found that the peer experiment which we did with that autograder tool was giving a, it was kind of a unit testing done, where small piece of codes were tested and instant feedback was given to the students. So it was primarily a small piece of, there are a lot of other autograders as well, like WebCat, etc. But this was primarily a autograder written in Python, which we were actually using for one of our courses.
To give a feedback is not an easy task. Do you train students how to evaluate their peer work?
That's what is our ongoing research, which is funded right now. Our first study was actually a pilot study where we actually gave a coursework to a set of students, and they were giving a peer review of it. But right now, what we have done is for the funded project is we have actually asked one of our fourth-year honors students to develop a project itself, wherein the students will submit coursework which are written in Python onto it, and we will ask the rest of the fellow students to give feedbacks on it. But we have, since your question is whether we have given any training to them, no. The reason why we haven't given a training to them is we wanted to see what are the possible test cases they will write for them, so that we just kept it very open for them, so that, so as you said, it might not cover all the code coverage aspects, so we do want to address that, but then we wanted it to be in such a way that they get the full opportunity to put all sorts of test cases onto it. So that was the reason.
The next presentations we're showing are virtual presentations, so please be patient whilst we sort of get people set up with the Blackboard Collaborate, I think, as the means of communication. The virtual presentation we're going to be looking at is by Abir Alamari, and it's looking at proposed evaluation instruments as perceived by participants using sort of an Arab MOOC platform in Saudi Arabia. So whether we can connect Abir and just get the Blackboard Collaborate to work, and then Abir will be hopefully talking to everybody and addressing their particular project. Following this, we'll have another virtual project, so I pray for your attention. We've still got 3 papers to go, 2 virtuals and 1 more at the end. So the next virtual will be from Shamir Awad and Gabriel Kili. And then we have Rotimi Animashan and Abio Alawal at the end, our final paper. So please be patient, and we'll see if we can connect through to Abir.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Thanks. Okay, so Abir is trying to get through to us.
Hello.
Are we connected?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Can you hear us, Abir?
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, fantastic. Welcome to this virtual conference. Please, can you now start your presentation and talk to our avid audience waiting for you?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Abir Al-Amri. I'm from United States right now, and the time is 5 a.m. So be patient with me, please. My presentation is about conducting evaluation instrument for the first Arabic platform, MOOC platform. It's named Rawaq. As you see, like the proposed evaluation instrument as perceived by participants of Arabic MOOC platform Rawaq in Saudi Arabia. I'm a PhD candidate. I'm a researcher in test and assessment unit in Riyadh. Just to give you like an overall about the massive open online course, the MOOC, as it refers to any open resource course, and it starts in 2008. And recently, MOOC is referred to any free non-credit online educational course, not only for that course started in 2008. And it's supposed to have a large number of students, with thousands, where the educational material and resource are freely available. And since that time, 2008 until now, there's like a huge growth in MOOC initiatives. As in research 2015 said, there is like a 50 initiatives MOOC around the world with the 32 languages. But like in Arabic world, this thing is still very new. In 2013, a new MOOC platform was launched in Saudi Arabia, and it's the first Arabic MOOC. And because of this, I target this platform to create an evaluation instrument to measure the participants' satisfaction. So the purpose of this paper is to adopt and test participants in this MOOC evaluation instrument. I name it BEME, and was designed to explore the extent to which a MOOC course implemented by Rawaq can be restructured and modified to reflect the current needs of participants. I administer this instrument within 5 stages, and you can see this like in the next slide. The results reveal that BME possesses both functionality and flexibility that enable it to be used across a variety of MOOC courses, because when I distribute the questionnaire, it was distributed within 12 MOOC courses. The rationale, due to MOOC's characteristic, they are perceived as a learning opportunity for participants. It's free and it's open, and there's no requirement to have the admission to these courses. However, it's a challenge for the instructor. Although MOOC seems to be an engaging and interesting learning technique, the dropout and non-completion rate is very high. One of the possible reasons for this that the student perspective of MOOC it's like a different than the students who pay for the courses. So they take it as a tourist learning style rather than a formal one. Also, the diversity of MOOC participants is like from different nationality and different ages and different educational background. So this is like the rationale behind conducting this evaluation, and the rationale that's why I want to listen to the participant perspective. In order to maximize the effectiveness and enhance the performance within MOOC, the purpose of this paper is to examine the experience of MOOC participants by developing a reliable and valid evaluation instrument. My research question was how do MOOCs should fit into the higher education arena as an alternative form of teaching and learning as perceived by participants. I have like a three framework for this, as like MOOC is kind of distance education. So there is these two papers developed by Stuart Hong and Sturgill and Robert et al. They create two distance learning evaluation in this course evaluation for online classes, but a formal online classes. And Weiner, he introduced the way to evaluate multimedia course in 1993. So this is my framework for creating a questionnaire. But the Weiner way was like for 4 stages. For me, I modified the model a little bit because I feel that I need like more stages. This is the fifth stages that I used to develop the end of MOOC evaluation. In the beginning, I collect the initial instrument from the audience, from participants, and then I collect as much as I can questions from the participants themselves. Then I work on defining dimension under the items that I collect already in stage 1. Then in stage 3, I select the essential items with the specific journal. I will let you see later. Then I use initial instruments. Then the final one. So this is some of the information about the participants. This is in the first survey. I have 1,273 participants, and this is from the different ages and also different background education. In stage 4, so in stage 1, this is the initial one when I collect only the items from the participants, what they think about like which items that they need or they think it might be useful for evaluation the MOOC course. In stage 4, this is the number of this is the total number, 921 participants, and I also add a question about which kind of electronic device they use and how many MOOC courses they have or they experienced before. And the last stage, this is the last number, is like 1,959 participants, and also I have the 2 questions as well. In the final model, because I'm a psychometric, so I care too much about the model building. So my model was a biofactor model, and I picked the biofactor because I believe the internet usability affects any factor under the using distance education. So I have that the internet usability is a general factor, and there is a 6th dimension under the internet usability, which is the appearance and structure of the MOOC web page, presentation and delivery of MOOC instruction and content delivery, assessment tool and class instruction, communication with instructor and peers, technical issues and application. This is a total of 38 items under 6 dimensions. And also the internet usability affect all the 38 indicators. And this is the way the model looks like. This is the internet usability, and this is the 6th factor here. I test the model for the content variability. I have 8 experts. For content variability, 2 specialized in instruction technology, 3 psychometrician, 2 Arabic language instructors, and 1 statistician. I conduct factorial analysis, explanatory factor analysis, and confirmatory factor analysis. The model fit was great for the fit criteria, and it shows an excellent reliability with overall alpha 0.94. It's Arabic initiative platform, so the questionnaire was in Arabic. So I know I just want to show 2 of the results. The first one was about the appearance of the MOOC, and you can see the rating average. I have a 5-point length scale, and it shows that most of the answer is around about 4. So the satisfactory level was very high. Also, this question is about the content on the MOOC courses, and we can see also that it's a very high rate here.
Hello, Abir.
Yes.
Sorry, yes. Two more minutes to go. Apologies, 2 more minutes, okay?
Yes.
Sorry, okay. Please carry on. I think I've killed her. Please carry on, Abir. You've got 2 more minutes to continue, that's all. Abir, are you there?
Yes.
Okay,
hello?
please. Yeah, I can hear you. Please carry on. You've got 2 more minutes to present. And then questions, okay?
Sorry, what? I don't understand. I don't hear you.
You have 2 more minutes to continue your presentation.
Okay, yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So as a result, I said like the overall result showed high level of participant satisfaction. The evaluation course helped maintaining the quality of the MOOC, but we recommend do always formative and summative evaluation activity. The evaluation effort don't only promote the sense of accountability within the MOOC, but also help with identifying the most effective activity and areas that need improvement. Also, it's very, very important to conduct the end of course evaluation. It's for improvement, for like getting results from the students themselves, and also it's for the instructor. So through a careful and rigorous searching procedure, we learned that this study is the first end of MOOC evaluation study, and the results of the current study indicated that MOOC instructor were able to measure the quality of their MOOC courses using the BEME instrument. And that's it.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Yeah, you're on time, and we've now got some questions from the audience here, and if anybody's online as well, of course. Yeah. So could I ask people in the room here if anybody has a question to ask them here? Just, I'm looking around. Okay, Martin can ask a question.
Hello, my name is Martin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So it was very interesting to see how you rate the MOOCs, but did you try to compare this to face-to-face lectures so that we can maybe try to see what would be the advantages of one method against the other?
Like in face-to-face, we have a lot of valid and reliable instruments already exist in the literature, and very reliable and valid. So they have a different story. You know, like the face-to-face classes has a different characteristics. So we can't really compare the results between them. They are not equal, and even the learning outcome are totally different. What the learner or participant expectations are totally different. So it's not fair to compare both instructions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, and any more questions from anybody in the audience here? From here? Okay, I think we properly sort of concluded that. So we'd like to thank you very much and give you a round of applause in there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate your effort. We know it's a very difficult medium to try and communicate, so we think you've done a very good job.
Thanks.
So thank you very much.
Thank you so
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, we're now going to continue with the second virtual presentation. Now this one is to do with inclusive education in comparing Egypt and Morocco. The actual title is Promoting Inclusive Quality Education, case study, and it's something that's been using something called the Microsoft Innovator Educator Program, which sounds interesting. The presenters, Shaima Awad and Gabriel El-Kili, are going to be online. I'm not sure if they're there. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. This is Gabriel.
Yes.
Okay, Gabriel, you're doing the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now then, you have 10 minutes. After about 10 minutes, I will say 2 minutes, and then you have to wind up in 2 minutes, and then we have about 3 minutes for questions. Is that okay for you?
Okay.
Okay. So, okay then, Gabriel, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself and continue the presentation?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel El-Kili, and I will be presenting this this paper together with my colleague Shaima Awad. So I'm working for UNESCO in Tunisia right now. So so maybe I can go straight. Shaima, do you want to present yourself?
Yes, please. Hello, everyone. I'm Shaima Awad. I'm a research associate and instructor at the American University in Cairo, and it's a pleasure to be presenting among all of you. Thank you very much.
Okay, well then I will start, and then we will combine like the interventions. So our paper is mainly about promoting inclusive quality education in Egypt and Morocco, and this paper has been taught within the scope of rethinking the concepts of education. And the new theories regarding educational approaches, but also within what we can call the paradigm shift regarding inclusion in general and quality education in particular. So this paper is also within the realm of the new education framework. As you know, all education is a key factor in the development. So in the Sustainable Development Goals, it stands alone for itself under the SDG 4, but it also stands in the heart of the Sustainable Development Goals, because it is a means to fight against poverty. It is a matter of gender. It is about decent work, responsible consumption, climate change, just to name some. So this is one thing. The other thing is also the importance of the new educational inclusive approaches, which means that we are shifting the paradigm from an education delivery to more learning and teaching and learning perspectives, where inclusion is in the heart. So inclusion, the new approaches in inclusion, in education, in curriculum, in teacher training, is that the education is the key role in strengthening the capacities of the learners to adapt to the new challenges that the 21st century is putting on the table. So inclusive education means for us elimination of all form of discrimination. It is also considered as an ongoing process in providing quality education, mainly through personalization, respecting specificities of learners and communities. These ideas are quite new. If you combine those ideas with the ICT and with innovation, then we may start talking about smart learning rather than traditional educational service delivery. The other aspect also that this paper is within is the current curriculum development approaches, mainly that curriculum has been perceived before as a delivery of the syllabus. Now the approach is completely different, which means that the new approaches of curriculum development are shifting, which means that curriculum is both delivery of the content, but also the processes, where the role of the teachers, the role of the learners are completely different. We are talking about child-centered approach. We are talking about the role of a teacher as taking a part of not only curriculum development, but also on the policy and decision making. The last part I would like to highlight here with regard to the scope of this paper is the place of ICT and innovation in education, mainly in the Arab region, which means that in the Arab region we have noticed that with regard to development, but also with regard to education and ICT usage, they are not on the same level. So you have different perspectives, mainly with regard to the reforms. So some countries has conducted reforms with regard to education. Others are still coming, and mainly with regard to the introduction of the new concepts that I have just mentioned now with regard to these new approaches in education and curriculum and teacher training. So these automatically have something to do with the usage and the introduction of ICTs in education. But we have selected the two case studies which are Egypt and Morocco for many reasons. One is that Morocco and Egypt have, let's begin by the beginning, that the two countries are not the wealthiest in the Arab region, but they are the most important in terms of their long historical tradition as lighthouses when it comes to knowledge, education, and the culture of education and culture of studies. Not talking about also about the culture of philosophy, the culture of the intellectual. So they have a lot of commonalities with regard their position with regard to their environment, both in the Arab region but also in Africa. So this is one very, very important thing. As you can see here, there are two universities, like the Al-Qarawiyyin in Morocco and Al-Azhar in Egypt. Those are they have been like lighthouses for many, many centuries. So the other part that are common to the countries, there are challenges, of course, mainly in terms of development, in terms of energy, in terms of globalization and sustainability. What does that mean in reality? It means that the two countries, they are not wealthy in terms of resources, so they need to rethink how to allocate resources to education, to the ICT, how they can use, for example, ICT programs to reduce to solve problems both in resources, financial, but also in human resources. The challenges also are mainly in terms of access and quality education. Access, because despite the fact that a lot of effort has been done since decades regarding access to education, nevertheless, there are still some problems there with regard to quality education, and mainly with regard to push out children, not to talk about dropouts, and the need for education reform. So both countries are under that pressure to reform their education in order to cope with the challenges of the 21st century, but also because both countries, and this is very important, are aiming to be a part of the emerging countries in 21st century. What does that mean in reality? It means that they need to do the reform in order that education can strengthen the economy reform. Well, of course, there are also some differences with regard to the two countries, mainly in terms of demography. Morocco is 35 million, Egypt is almost 100. Different economies, different partnerships, but also the difference in the education traditions. Egypt is an English inspired system, and Morocco is like more French inspired system. Of course, it goes without saying that there are differences in political regimes, which means that Morocco is a kingdom and Egypt is a republic, and that also has something to do with the stability, with the law, with the institution, how they function. But also they have something in common, that they have also, there are two societies, they have been also open to the world, open to Europe mainly because they are neighbors. So these are like the two features that we would like to highlight why we have chosen these two countries, and we would and because of the time and because of the resources that we have limited our research to those two countries. I pass now to Shayma to continue with the research questions.
All right, I'll have to be brief and be very fast with what's coming. So we mainly based our research on 4 research questions. The first 2 ones are mainly about some of the background of what's inclusive quality education and its relation to the Sustainable Developmental Goal. And then we move to the Egyptian and Moroccan context and the initiatives done by the ministries and by officials there. And then the main focus of our study is this Microsoft Innovative Educator Program as a case study in both countries, and the similarities and differences in the processes of implementation and program objectives, content, and other stuff. And then lessons learned from the implementation in both countries.
Okay.
So the design.
Just a minute. Show me. We've got 2 more minutes, please. Okay.
All right. All right.
Yeah, 2 more minutes. Carry on, please. 2 more minutes.
All right. So it's a qualitative research and it's a comparative case study. We had 10 teachers, 10 educators from both countries, 2 Ministry of Education representatives, and 1 Microsoft representative from Egypt. We conducted Skype and face-to-face interviews. We conducted an open-ended questionnaire and a review of the website of the program. And we conducted a thematic analysis and we did the triangulation. So this initiative started as a Microsoft Partners in Learning initiative by Microsoft. This was like in 2005, and it was all over the world, not only Egypt and Morocco, so it's still conducted all over the world, and then it developed to be the Microsoft Innovative Educator. And it's based on the partnership between the ministries in both countries and Microsoft. So what they do initially is it's a competition for educators announced by the ministry and by the Microsoft, and then teachers try to apply the tools used by Microsoft in their curriculum lessons and try to get the students on board and make them use these tools and work and communicate and collaborate together in order to develop their 21st century skills. This led to the development of inclusive quality education through the professional growth of teachers, because they have a website that communicates teachers all over the world together. They can exchange experiences, they can exchange their projects and see each other's lessons and implementation of these competition and projects in their countries, in different countries of the world. And they even let the students communicate using the same tools. So that's part of the professional growth. So it becomes a community of learners and practice. And then the curriculum representation and development, because they represent their curriculum, the current curriculum that they are teaching in a different way, and they try to get the students involved and engaged in doing these lessons using different tools, different innovative technological tools. And the students' development and the whole project is within the framework of UNESCO, the 21st Century Framework, developmental skills for the students, and which tries to develop the students' critical thinking, innovation, creativity, problem solving, and so on and so forth. There are some factors that help those teachers to succeed in whatever they're doing. They said that there is a cooperation between the ministry and Microsoft, capacity building for teachers because they do online courses and trainings on their website, and they provide tools for free, and they support some schools management systems by providing devices and other stuff. And they said that the main goal, the main incentive was the students themselves. They play the main role. They encourage the teachers to go on with their projects. The challenges are, of course, the dense curricula, the time limited because they have to fulfill a certain amount of the curriculum in a restricted time, and then the resistance to change and innovative approaches from some colleagues and even from the parents themselves, and the lack of appropriate infrastructures in many schools, the lack of internet connection, and the lack of appropriate devices and stuff. And then they recommended some recommendations for improvement of this. They wanted to be provided with official places to do the training for other teachers, the winners of the program itself. And they suggested that that will be one of the Ministry of Education representatives. She said that the ministry should provide a well-recognition strategy for those educators. It's not a material thing, but even like something that they could be acknowledged with. And then to guarantee the sustainability between the ministry and Microsoft.
Okay, I'll stop you there if that's okay, Shamir, because we've run out of time.
Can we play just 1 minute video for one of the projects?
I'll take a democratic vote for the audience. Yeah, please. Can we play a 1 minute video? Yeah, people are nodding. Okay, please play a 1 minute video. You have a democratic majority.
Thank you.
So please go ahead. Right.
Because I put a case from Egypt and one from Morocco, but I'm running. If the moderator can put this off and play the Moroccan one quickly, just to like divide the time between the two experiences.
Okay, so thank you very much for that interesting video. We're going to try and have a couple of questions, I think, before we have our next presentation. So for Shamir and Gabriel, any questions from the audience, please, based on that case study? Okay, just one question coming.
Dear Shema, just a question about the situation. I'm an educator, physics teacher in an American school, and really the budget is very high to provide internet and laptops, etc. Just here in Dubai, and still we struggle. The parents blame the school to raise the fees, etc. So what about Morocco and Egypt? What do you suggest to help these countries which are still facing and challenging a lot of problems in just the basic things in their lives to promote internet? What do you, how can you explain that? Thank you.
Gabriel? All right. For Egypt, there are like a lot of private-public partnership initiatives done with, for example, Microsoft has a great part playing this role. I think there are also initiatives by Intel, by many other like big companies and big names in the field to provide this kind of infrastructure for the schools and to fill in the gap for this financial deficit that we face in our countries. So they try to do this. There are initiatives, there are trials. It's not complete yet, and it's still far behind. And for the cases of these teachers, they really worked hard and tried their best in very difficult circumstances to get whatever you have seen in one of the projects. I wish we had time to present the Moroccan one too, to help students and to get them, because they have some kind of funding in their schools with devices and tools and software in order to help them to implement technology as much as they can. So hopefully this could make things get better. Gabriel would like to reflect on Morocco. I think he's disconnected.
Right. Any more questions from the
We
audience?
have no connection. I'm sorry.
I think, right, we're going to sort of stop there, but thank you very much, and I think the audience would like to show their appreciation. Thank you very much, please. Right, well, thank you, and we're now going to move on to our final presentation. Is it Rotimi? Okay, so Rotimi is going to talk about, I think, emotional intelligence in the workplace. So I'll let Rotimi introduce himself and his project. So about 10 minutes, and I'll give a 2-minute warning, etc. Okay, Rotimi? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know there is a reason for everything. For this one, especially this topic coming as the last to be presented as a reason. We are all educators. And we find that everything we have been presenting for the past 3 days, most of them have been part of a written curriculum. There are two kinds of curriculum. There is the written curriculum, there is an unwritten curriculum. The unwritten curriculum is always about our character. And since education is a lifelong process, as we are building our students educationally, we need to build them even for the workplace. And we know what is happening in the workplace today. A lot of people complaining about productivity, low productivity, and a lot of other challenges, a lot of other problems that they complain about. Why? There is a reason for it. And that is why we are bringing up this topic, emotional intelligence in the workplace. I am Rotimi Animashan, and my colleague is Adebayo Oluwole from the Department of Counseling and Human Development Studies, University of Ibadan, Nigeria. All right. Next slide. Okay. Thank you. Here, looking at when you're talking about success, you know that everybody, what we are pursuing is success. Success cannot be easily achieved without these other variables. Intelligence quotient, that is IQ. The EQ is emotional intelligence, creativity, and innovation. In fact, we have been emphasizing a lot about creativity and innovation. That creativity and innovation will, they are part of the components of success. Emotional intelligence is another vital area that we need to examine. All these are talking about the definition of emotional intelligence. Emotion, then intelligence. These are the two key words. When you look at emotion, it refers to the part of a person's character that consists of feelings rather than thoughts. And we have examples like happiness, love, fear, anger, hatred, which can be caused by the situation in which an individual finds himself. You can see people expressing various kinds of emotion. Yes, here is another kind of emotion, positive emotion, desire, gratitude, euphoria, joy, happiness. And you will see that all these kinds of emotion, they promote an individual and they, in fact, they make us healthy. But here is another one, negative emotion. This one drives us up. And in fact, negative emotion always lead to untimely death. We can see jealousy, sadness, shame, fear, grief, guilt, sadness, and so on. All these reduce our lifespan. You can see anger. In fact, we know from research has found out that when somebody gets angry easily all the time, you say that he doesn't live much longer. Okay, then intelligence now, that's another part. And think, reason, these are the components of intelligence. That is, we understand rather than doing things automatically or by mere instinct. So, when you talk about intelligence, again, we are talking about ability to acquire and apply what we have acquired. Intellect, brain power, understanding, ingenious insight, mind prompting, deep reasoning, comprehension, all these are part of intelligence. Knowledge, sharpness, brilliance, and so on. Then, how do we apply intelligence in the workplace? Yes, ability to think and provide solutions to problems. Ability to understand, plan ahead, and achieve in complex situations. Ability to be creative and be innovative for organizational productivity and using our knowledge and skills to move the organization forward. There is another one, ability to be proactive in solving impending problems. Okay? Combining the two together now, emotional intelligence. This one could be conceptualized as ability to take charge or be in control of one's emotion and think reasonably and rationally before embarking on any action which should not be injurious to others, but promote unity. And the relationship between emotional intelligence and good character, integrity, honesty, fairness, and human dignity, they are considered as basis for ethical behavior, which is essentially needed at home, at work, and everywhere. Yeah, emotional intelligence continued. When you talk about character, though is the foundation of all human behavioral functions, emotional intelligence largely determines human character. In fact, emotional intelligence has been described as the major determinant of human success, accounting for 80% of human performance, while general intelligence accounts for 20%. And that is one of the findings by Goldman, 1996. Okay? There are a lot of approach by scholars, but our time may not allow us to go through all of them. This one is Askers, 2001. It talks about living, love, learn, choose, and be free. Here is another one, 6 seconds, 2001. It's talking about know yourself. We need to know ourselves. That is when choose yourself and finally give yourself. Okay? When you know yourself, you know what you want, then you choose yourself. That is ability to display that. But when you are giving yourself, that means you are considering the other party before anything is done. Scholars' views continue. This is Zalove and Meyer. In fact, these are the great authorities in the area of emotional intelligence, using emotions, understanding emotions, and managing emotions. Scholars' views continue. That is Akimboye, that's the Nigerian. He also talks about self-awareness, intuitive awareness, and win-win synergy, trustworthiness. All these are components of emotional intelligence. Kemis and Goldman, they also continue to do this. Let's quickly go to application of emotional intelligence in the workplace. When you talk about the workplace, definitely the organizations need to make good decisions about new markets, products, and strategic alliances. The organizations need to prepare people for overseas assignments. Organizations need to develop a culture in which there are clear-cut codes of work ethics to which all stakeholders comply. The organizations need to identify potential leaders in its rank and prevent them from moving away. We still have a lot there. Then, there are two broad categories of emotional intelligence. These are the interpersonal competencies and interpersonal competencies. Thank God for those people that have been studying about this. One of my friends that is here from Malaysia, immediately we were discussing yesterday. Quickly, it went straight to these two components, the intrapersonal competencies and interpersonal competencies. I love that. When people share this one, honestly, we are having a very broad outlook to all things. What are the intrapersonal, a lot of people have intrapersonal crises. Consequences of poor emotional intelligence in the workplace. These are intrapersonal crises. When you cannot even understand yourself, how will you understand others? There are a lot of challenges going on in you. And in fact, this has led to many people transferring aggression. Aggression instead of displaying emotional intelligence. Interpersonal crisis, definitely the way you relate with others will be very poor. Incessant anger, transfer of aggression, inefficiency, low productivity, subjectivity, ill feelings, temperamental outbursts, selfishness, and resources wastages. All these are display of when somebody doesn't have emotional intelligence. You can see at the workplace etiquette. You can see that this one is very poor. Conflict at the workplace. It's not necessary when people are emotionally intelligent. General emotional intelligence competencies in the workplace. What do we need now? And these are part of what our students should know now. Everyone, all of us that are educators, since 3 days ago that we have been here, everybody has been talking about one strategy, one program or the other to help develop our younger ones that are coming after us. We also need to prepare them for the workplace, because that is in fact, that is the end product of all our academic endeavors, to prepare them for the workplace. What do we strengthen in them? What do we need to emphasize? Number one is maturity, empathy, self-impulse control. We need to do that. Stress management. Everybody is stressed every day, but we need to manage it. Anger management, conflict management, problem solving, emotional self-awareness. You see, human dignity. Human dignity is very, very important. Flexibility, reality testing, trust, fairness, mutual love, assistance, selflessness, team spirit, creativity, respect for the worth and dignity of individuals, caring, objectivity, understanding, reliability, responsibility. You see, emotional intelligence brings, thank you very much, sir, teamwork. Teamwork. That is, everybody will be able to work together. This morning, you can see during the closing remarks there, when we gathered in the larger hall up there, you see a lot of people that were commended just because of teamwork. And in fact, the success of this program this year depends much on teamwork. It's very important. Emotional intelligence brings mutual respect and conclusion. Without adequate emotional intelligence, individual and group success might turn to be unfulfilled dreams and mere shadows. Whereas, at least moderate emotional intelligence could lift an individual from the dunghill and make him sit at the table with princess in the palace. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Ma? Exactly. You know, a lot of you must have been reading about Nigerians. You must have been reading about the issue of corruption here and there. In fact, it's the canker one that is disturbing us. But when this issue of emotional intelligence, and that is why it is pertinent there now, we are training people, especially the coming generation, for them, because we have seen that a lot of people are brilliant, but we are only producing academic devils. People who will rise up one day and maybe destroy everything because of lack of emotional intelligence. But when we begin to build emotionally intelligent individuals in schools now, we know that we have a future. Thank you. And the university? Yeah. Definitely. In my university, there have been a lot of programs. In fact, recently, our newcomers, our new students, they were just admitted. And this was part of their orientation program, which I participated actively for the whole university to build them emotionally on emotional intelligence. And it's working. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.